Hi guys, my name's Doug. Welcome to My Messy Garage. In today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of work on my air compressor, getting it ready for an upcoming project that I have planned for the channel. But first, we've encountered a little bit of a problem. People that have been watching my recent videos might notice that I have been out of town for work for a couple of weeks. And when I came home, found a little problem. This is my tent shelter. The idea here is that I'm going to be storing my razor in here with a snowplow on it so that I can plow my driveway out. Snowblower is also stored in there and a few other little bits and pieces. However, obviously my plan of using a nice cheap Harbor Freight shelter has not panned out. It obviously isn't capable of dealing much in the way of snow load. Doesn't look to me like there's a whole lot of snow up there. I don't know whether you guys can see that or not. But obviously the roof has somewhat collapsed. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to try and get some of the snow off of this thing and see what kind of damage we have. I'm hoping that I can patch it back together and make it last the rest of the winter. However, that's not necessarily going to happen today. Today we're just going to evaluate the damage real quick and kind of come up with a plan and then get the work done that I want to do on the air compressor. Thanks a lot for stopping by, checking this out, and hopefully enjoy this. I got about as much snow off of there as I can reach with the brush I'm using. There's still quite a bit on the back side there. What I think has happened is we got a little bit of warm weather and there was probably like an inch of snow or something like that stuck to this thing. And the warm weather created kind of like a greenhouse effect. And the inside of the tent got a little warm, melted the bottom layer of the snow, and that really stuck it to the tent. There was kind of I will say an inch of very kind of like florist foam almost snow at the bottom that was just kind of stuck to the tent. And then when you get a layer of snow stuck to this stuff, more snow just sticks to it. And I don't know what the total accumulation was up there. Probably, I don't know, 6-8 inches, something like that. Not a huge amount, but enough to definitely cause a problem. So now that we got most of the snow off the top, or 3/4 of it off, let's go inside and see what kind of mess we have. Well, I guess you could kind of say it's a good thing the razor was parked in here. It seems to have taken the brunt of the snow load. Definitely there's quite a bit of frost has built up in here. You can see the inside of the tentage. All this frost that's on the, or all this white stuff that's on the razor is crunched off frost. That's not snow because this thing hasn't been out in the snow this year. I don't know whether we're going to be able to do anything with this or not. These pipes are badly bent and I don't know that they're all that strong to begin with. Kind of disappointing. You know, it makes sense that the snow is stuck and basically forced its way down here, but I was hoping to get a little longer out of this tent. Anyways, it is what it is. My compressor. And about 3 weeks ago, I don't remember exactly what the footage was, but I started working on that. If I can figure out a way that makes sense, I'll insert the footage on how we got to where we did. Basically, we've got the drain valve taken out of the bottom of the compressor. And I don't know whether here, under there, an old ice cream pail that let the water drain down in. And that's where I left this thing in the evening when I shut down working on it with the intention of coming back out the next day and continuing to do some more work. Unfortunately, I ended up out on the road the next day. We're having problems and had to go deal with them. So let us continue on with this little project. And a couple things I want to do. First of all, I want to modify the drain at the bottom so that it's easier to get at. It's one of those things, if routine preventive maintenance is easy to do, you're a lot more likely to do it. And the second thing I want to do is change the oil on this. Now, I've had this compressor for close to 25 years. I got it when I first built the garage, which would have been 98. Yeah, so probably 98, 99 is when I got this. And it's been a fantastic compressor. It's worked well. And I've changed the oil on it a few times, but it has been quite a while. Now, I don't know how much use it's had in that time, but nonetheless, let's pull some oil out of this thing. That's step number one. And then we'll set up a better drain for the bottom. Here's our oil fill. There's a little dipstick. Almost looks like the thing's overfilled. Oil doesn't look bad, but we'll change that anyways. I'm going to say that that is not metric. Got a bucket that I've got some used oil in already, so we'll just kind of wedge it under there. I don't know whether you guys can see this or not. This appears to have an oil seal or O-ring or something behind it. I'll just work it out of here. Okay, we're almost free. Get the bucket under here. I know you guys probably can't see anything. That oil is surprisingly quite clear. As I say, I don't know how much use this compressor's had since the oil was changed. It's had some, but not hours and hours of constant running. So still, it's good preventive maintenance to change the oil. I've had the heat on here in the garage overnight, but definitely I haven't tried running the compressor this morning, so everything is just at the ambient, I don't know, 60-ish degrees. The oil definitely is draining out of here, but slowly. We're pretty much down to a minimal trickle, so I'll put the plug back in and fill back up again. Reasonably snugged up. I'm going to wipe some of that grunge down. Just a piece of paper towel with a little bit of thinner on it, just to help cut the grease a bit. Unfortunately, the lens on my pressure gauge is so cloudy with overspray that I can't read it anymore. So this is compressor oil from Motor Master, means it's from Canadian Tire, and it feels like it's pretty well a full liter. Something tells me I'm going to need a funnel to get it to go down in that little hole. Let me go dig one up and I'll bring you guys back when I'm ready to dump some in. So here's a funnel. Kind of, sort of, almost fits in the hole. I'll let that drain down in and we'll check the level. Don't really want to overfill it. It was a little on the overfilled side when I drained it, so hopefully it won't be too bad. I don't know for sure. I'm going to assume that this uses splash oil, which usually means that there's a little kind of a dipper on the bottom of the crankshaft, and as it comes around it kicks through the oil and sprays it up all over everything. So having it at the right level is pretty important. I pretty much guarantee you that in something like this, there isn't a gear type oil pump that is going to pressure feed anything. Most small engines also use a splash oiler. And there we are, we're well up on the dipstick. Might even be a little bit above the what is considered the full mark. And yeah, I know you shouldn't be working on stuff with it plugged in, but I also know that I have the breaker turned off because otherwise this thing would be running because there's no plug in the bottom. While we're in here, we may as well do a little bit more preventive maintenance. I think we've got 5 5 screws, and this cover should come off the belts. We'll take a peek at them, see what kind of shape they're in. Well, I was kind of expecting a double belt setup, but it's only a single belt. But, ooh, all sorts of grunge in there. Worthwhile wiping that off. But the belt, good news is, belt is nicely tensioned and looks like it's in really good shape. Let me take my rag and just kind of give everything a quick little wipe down. Unfortunately, I don't have any compressed air at the moment, otherwise I'd blow everything off. Everything's kind of sort of wiped down in here. Get the worst of it off. I'm not that terribly concerned about it being perfect. One of the reasons that there was so much dust packed into this pulley is it kind of works. You can see it's got an airfoil shape to it. Kind of that's your cooling fan that blows air over top of the cylinders of the compressor head. So any dust in the air basically was getting sucked into here and blown through. So it's not surprising there was a little bit built up on the pulley itself. And in the top of the tank, a nice wipe, a little bit of oil and dust and whatnot, just to clean it up a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's only going to get dirty again. Anyways, let me put the cover back on this. Unfortunately, we've had a fail. That is the petcock, or the drain that goes in the bottom of my compressor. And unfortunately, because I ended up leaving 2 days early for my road trip, I didn't end up grabbing it to take with me, and this is the size that I bought. I bought 1/8 inch, and this appears to be 1/4 inch. So I've got all the parts, bits and pieces for installing an 1/8 inch drain valve in the compressor, and unfortunately need 1/4 inch. So I'll have to get an adapter that goes from 1/4 to 1/8 inch. The 1/8 inch will be more than enough flow. However, it doesn't make the job happen today. So what I'm going to end up doing instead is I'm going to put the original valve back in, put it in with some Teflon tape so that it's easy to take out again. I will get the appropriate parts and we will set things up next time. You don't need to watch me doing that. Thanks a lot for watching. I know this video didn't quite turn out the way I had hoped it would, but nonetheless, functional. And we'll catch you in the next mess.